What's going on, guys? JB Lion back with another video, and what can I say? It's good to be back. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, but I am back for 2026. Obviously, I know we had a game before this Man City one, but I kind of wanted to just make sure I was nice and fresh. I'm ready to do this, and I am ready. So we got quite a hefty video today. We're going to be talking about, obviously, the Chelsea-Man City game that's literally just happened. And then also we're going to be talking about Enzo Maresca leaving, which is what everyone's talking about at the moment. So let's just get on with it. Obviously, if you're new around here, please hit the sub, because I'm trying to hit 100 subs by the end of the year. I know it's not a massive milestone for people, but for me, I want to hit it. Last year, I aimed to do it, but I didn't quite get there, whereas this year I know I'm going to do it. So yes, let's get there and just get this 100 nice and early. But yeah, let's get into this video. Right, so yeah, like I said, let's start off by talking about Enzo Maresca, my thoughts, my opinions, my feelings on this situation. Obviously, it's not good. You know, I don't really understand the dismissal. I don't think he got dismissed. I think he decided to leave. From what I've been reading in the news, I think it was kind of his choice. I think he even didn't even take some money when he left. He just kind of wanted to get out of shop, which is kind of a shock, really, and it definitely is a shame because, you know, Maresca, he wasn't doing bad at Chelsea. Yes, obviously we didn't quite have the form in December, which isn't great, but I don't think that was his fault. I think it was just a case of we were not playing the football we ideally wanted to, not having the experience across the board. Obviously we've got a lot of young players. This board that currently run Chelsea are very young player driven. They don't, you know, the way they run the club is young players. They don't, you know, believe in experience, they believe in youth, which, you know, has its pros and cons. Obviously has its pros that all the players are youthful, the team's going to be playing together hopefully for a very long time, and, you know, and then when they obviously reach their peak experience, I don't know, maybe the club might sell them or we might go on to dominate, who knows. But obviously the bad point is currently we have no experience, no voice in the team. Obviously got Reece James, who's technically our most senior player, but still, even then, he's still young himself. So it's kind of hard to take on that experience, and I think a few players have had to step up and take that experience, like, say, Reece James, Enzo, players that have to step up and basically take it, even though they're not experienced enough to talk about it. I do still believe we need to invest in a new centre-back with some experience, or just any position, really, someone with experience. But yeah, like I said, Enzo Maresca, I loved him as a manager. I think as a Chelsea fan, I can't say enough of what he did. He took a very young side that wasn't good at all and transformed them basically, and then pretty much set them up. And, you know, we won the Conference League. I know it's not like a major title in some people's eyes, which, you know, we shouldn't be in that competition, because we should be better than that, but you're in it to win it. So we did go and win that with Maresca, which is great. And then obviously the Club World Cup, like I said, another trophy that people see as a Mickey Mouse trophy, but it's not. We still had to, you know, we didn't play great in that tournament, but we did basically face one of the best PSG teams that there has been. And I know people will laugh at that and be like, oh, well, you know, still a Mickey Mouse trophy. Yeah, fine, whatever, you know, whatever makes you happy. But still, at the end of the day, Chelsea had to do a job. They had to beat, like I say, arguably one of the best PSG teams that has been, who absolutely destroyed everyone last season, but didn't destroy Chelsea. Like I said, I know people laugh at that statement and go, well, it's not, whatever. Fine, you know, your opinion's your opinion, but at the end of the day, job had to be done. We beat PSG at that point, and Maresca did it. Like I said, when you've watched Maresca play his style of football, Chelsea look insane. We play some really nice, fluid football, but it just wasn't working. I just don't think the board weren't completely on board. Obviously, as we found out with Thomas Tuchel, and now we found out Maresca, the board don't like a manager who's going to basically go in there, put his 50 pence piece in and say, look, I want to do this, that, and change this and that. And you know, I just think that's where it broke down. This board aren't that sort of board where they're going to be taking the manager's opinion on board. They're just going to sack him. And obviously, as a Chelsea fan, it sucks to see a manager go, but at the end of the day, we're all here. We've all got to support the team, regardless of who's in charge. Obviously, ideally, I wanted Maresca in charge, but there's nothing that could be done. We just got to get behind the team and support them. Like I said, it was an absolute shit decision, really, from the board, but this is it now. There's no point, Chelsea fans. You know, obviously, we can scream to have the board out. I do agree with that. They, you know, they should sell up, because I just don't think their model or the idea of what they're going for this club is not what Chelsea's about. But and then at the end of the day, it is what it is. We all support Chelsea, and that's just how it is. But anyway, that's the end of Maresca. Like I said, it's a shame to see him go, because I loved him as a manager. But other than that, I don't think there's much more that could have been changed, said or done. I just think he was already halfway out the door, with obviously the conversations about going to City, whether they happened or not. I think he was already halfway out the door, and you know, like I said, I just don't think the board took too kindly to rumours, even if they aren't real. I think they just didn't like that, and like I said, backed up with the fact of that he, you know, came out and slated him openly. It was always going to happen, and it was always bound to happen, and it has happened. So that's why it is a shock, but it's not at the same time, because the board aren't going to let people step up and talk crap about them when they're the owners of the club. But yeah, that's the end of that. Maresca, it's gone. Sad times, but we've got to move on as a team now, and you know, get behind them, which makes me move on nicely to the game today, which was obviously Chelsea versus Man City. Basically, the first half was this clip.
It's all just an act.
Stop! Stop! He's already dead.
And then after that, it was, you know, we got absolutely battered in the first half. We looked a bit like we held our defence nicely at the start, but we just didn't look like we had anything going for us. We basically were pinned in pretty much. Like I said, we held strong defensively, which was good. We looked solid. Our unit looked solid. You know, missing key players at the back, you know, going with the Badiashile, Chalobah, Gusto and Achupong. That back line, I did look at it and I thought, Christ. And same with Jorgensen in goal. I did kind of think, this is going to be an absolute milling here. Obviously, given all the emotion going into the game, you know, the club, with everything that's going on personally outside of the club, I think a lot of people went in thinking, right, this is going to be an absolute milling. And like I said, the first half was 100% like that. We did get absolutely, well, we didn't get smashed, but we were pinned in. Basically, we didn't really have a sniff. There was no outlet. It was kind of just us holding on to like what we had pretty much, and that was it. And we had to try and, you know, figure it out of how to break it down. And then obviously Reinders scored, which was, yeah, a crazy good goal. He's on fire at the moment for City. Like I said, it was always going to be happening. You know, it was just a matter of time when, and they did right before half time. And then we kind of had to, I think the best thing Chelsea did was basically hold on until half time, get into the changing room, let the manager say what he did, and that's exactly what we did. We held on till half time. We came out the second half. Obviously, we took Esteval off. We took Esteval off, and we also made the sub, got João Pedro off and Achupong off for Liam Delap and Hato. And then obviously Andre Santos came for Esteval, and we looked like a completely different team. We looked a bit more compact. We looked a bit more attacking with Liam Delap up top. Like I said, I'm not his biggest fan. I do like him. I think he has potential, but with him up top, he managed to hold that ball nicely, which is what was good. We were pinging the ball up to him, and he was holding it up and then pushing the Man City defence around. Obviously, we got very fortunate that Guardiola and Diaz both had to be withdrawn, which made their defence basically a completely misshaped defence. And you know, you play your cards you've got, basically. And Liam Delap, he came and did what Chelsea needed, which was somebody to hold that ball up and just create chances around him, which is what he did. He held it up nicely. Pedro Neto today, he had plenty of opportunities. Didn't play the best. I've seen Pedro Neto play way better. But, you know, he had plenty of chances. But obviously, right at the end, we kept digging in, kept knocking, and we managed to scrape a goal right at the end from Enzo Fernandez. I think second half, we definitely deserved it. If it was like anything like the first half, we managed to nick one, then I'd say no. But given the second half, we definitely deserved it. We were more on City. City had a few attacks, but nothing other than that. We definitely are deserving of the point. I still think there's a lot of work to do. We didn't look, obviously, like what we're going on. Like I said, all the emotion going into the game was there. It was hard work, but then we did what we did, which was we stuck together, got the goal, and that was it. It was 1-1. Like I said, fair play to the manager, stepping in last minute, getting that team morale up to go into this big game. You know, it's hard enough stepping in as a manager that, you know, if you've not done management before, but to step in and for a game against Man City of all teams, you know, a team that's currently trying to push for the title behind Arsenal, and to get a draw out of it, you'll be absolutely laughing. You'll be taking that away. Obviously, we've got a new manager pending. I think it's Liam Rossinia. Got him pending management, which I don't know enough to give my opinion. I can see people making opinions already because I've seen a video of him, a clip of him in the changing room, and obviously it is hard when you look at his CV and you realise that, yeah, he's only managed Strasbourg, and I think he was like assistant coach at Derby or Hull or something like that. But then at the same time, you've got to give these people a chance. Obviously, he's coming to Chelsea, which is, you know, a very big team, even though we're not doing what we should be doing at the moment. We're still technically a very large team, and for a manager of that much experience, it is going to be worrying to see how he gets on. But a lot of the players we currently have, he has worked with before. You know, Andre Santos, when he was at Strasbourg, you know, Andre Santos last season was technically one of the best midfielders in the Ligue 1. And then obviously he has worked with Liam Delap briefly at Hull City, something like that. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. You know, like I said, the team could definitely take away a lot of positives from today. You know, it was a hard-fought draw. Like I said, second half, we definitely deserved it. City probably thought maybe potentially deserved more out of it because they did play, like I say, better than us in that first half, and they were knocking at our door. But yeah, that's it. Basically, I think the 1-1 is a fair result. City probably wouldn't agree, but for me as a Chelsea fan, I'll take a 1-1 result, considering we didn't have a manager. You know, 1-1 result is an absolute cracking result from us. But yes, guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed my first video back. Like I said, I'm going to be posting a lot more now, doing a lot more effort into my editing and things like that for you guys. Like I said, this year is my year. I want to hopefully get to that 100 sub goal. It will mean, like, say, so much to me. I've always wanted to get like 100 subs. I know it doesn't excuse me, I know it doesn't seem like a massive goal for some people, but for me, I've always wanted to do it, so that is my aim. But yeah, like I always say, if you enjoy this video, please hit the sub. If you do like this video, hit the like button. Comment in the comments, let me know, get some conversation going. I reply to all my comments, and my Twitter and all my other socials are in the bio. But I've been JB Lion. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you dudes, dudettes, and everyone else in the next video. Peace, guys. Woo!